Like most of you, throughout the week, I am reminded of the violence and life-threatening conditions that the citizens in Ukraine are facing every single day. I think we would all love to see the conflict resolved peacefully, but is there a possibility for peace in Ukraine? And would a peace conference effectively create lasting peace? My senior world politics thesis examines the events following World War I and analyzes the 1919 Paris Peace Conference and subsequent Treaty of Versailles. Using this historical example, I compare the events following World War I and analyze the 1919 Paris Peace Conference and subsequent Treaty of Versailles. Using this historical example, I compare the reparations that Germany faced in 1920 to the sanctions that the United States and other nations are currently imposing on Russia. During the drafting of the Treaty of Versailles, powerful figures like British Prime Minister David Lloyd George and American President Woodrow Wilson came to the Paris Peace Conference ready to punish the Central Powers. These diplomats drew boundaries of post-war Europe, set war reparation payments for the Central Powers, and created an international security organization that would later lead to the United Nations. Wilson's jewel, of course. However, Germany in 1919 faced harsh and frankly unreasonable reparations enforced by the Treaty of Versailles. Economists like John Maynard Keynes argued that the Allied powers were able to hold a monopoly over the German economy because they represented majority of Germany's import and export trading partners. The creators of the Treaty of Versailles were conscious of the fact that Germany could not pay what they were asking for, and yet they chose to charge Germany with the extensive cost of the Treaty of Versailles because they seized an opportunity to strengthen their national interests as opposed to creating lasting peace in Europe. If anything, crippling the German economy and trade would lead to more damage and long-term consequences than any of the members could have predicted. Many modern scholars now argue that the reparations placed on Germany can be linked directly to later global conflicts, such as the Holocaust and World War II. The poverty and economic ruin that generations of German people faced from the policies in the Treaty of Versailles allowed for a nationalist dictator like Hitler to turn the German people against those who he claimed were responsible for the current economic conditions in Germany. Although we are only in the first year of the Russian invasion into Ukraine, I think now more than ever, it is important to think about the future of international diplomacy. The war and the sanctions are likely to produce one of the deepest economic crises in Russia in the last 3 decades, most comparable to the transformation crisis in 1992 that followed the Soviet Union's collapse. If the nations of the globe want to establish lasting peace in Eastern Europe, then their priority must be the success and promotion of peace and human rights in the region. As we witnessed in 1919, the Paris Peace Conference served only as a platform for punishment and national development. Moving forward, I think we have a responsibility to use historical examples like the Paris Peace Conference to help better create effective peace negotiations and enforce lasting peace for future generations. Thank you.